Everyone knows that the crown prince of the capital has two absolute taboos. One is the Buddhist prayer beads on his wrist. The other is the girl who gave him those beads. One day, a video titled "Film Empress Subai Ruins the Crown Prince's Prayer Beads" shot to the top of trending searches. Everyone thought I was about to be blacklisted. Unexpectedly, he just sulkily retrieved the broken beads, showing no signs of anger at all. Netizens, film Empress Subai's late-night date with the Jiang family crown prince. Subai slaps Jiang Ye hard. Subai faces blacklisting and massive compensation. Early in the morning, my manager received over a dozen calls, all demanding to terminate contracts. It's just a misunderstanding. How could Subai dare to hit President Jiang? We'll issue a clarification soon. Hello, President Li? President Li? My manager, Sister Wang, stared at her phone, the screen already dark. She paced back and forth. What's going on here? Weren't you resting at home last night? Why were you at a bar? But that's not the point. Tell me honestly, did you really hit President Jiang? I toyed with the lighter in my hand, flicking it with a snap, the flame bursting to life. Under her complicated gaze, I nodded. She was so scared her soul nearly left her body. We're done! We're done! Do you know that over half the resources in the entertainment industry are in President Jiang's hands? Why would you go and provoke him for no reason? This morning, the company already pulled all your resources. Definitely his doing. I gave a faint smile. Jiang Ye's doing? Last night, I got a call from the bar manager. Jiang Ye was losing it at the bar, crying and calling my name. The room reeked of alcohol and cigarette smoke. I frowned at the sulking man. Have you made enough of a scene? Hearing this, Jiang Ye gritted his teeth, looking like a golden retriever whose tail had been stepped on. A scene? You think I'm making a scene? I like you, and you say I'm making a scene. I turned serious. Jiang Ye, I've made things very clear between us. Don't use these childish tricks to force me to come here again. It's very immature. Jiang Ye's face darkened, his hand hanging by his side, tightening around my waist, pulling me into his arms. Sister, what do I need to change for you to like me? I'll change, okay? Change what? Jiang Ye is the cherished grandson of the Jiang family, spoiled like a fragile egg by his grandmother since childhood. He grew up in luxury, arrogant, and notorious as the mad dog of the capital. Yet someone like him repeatedly humbles himself in front of me. Jiang Ye, if we're not compatible, we're not compatible. I don't need to give you a reason. If you need one, I can make one up right here. Before I could finish, his fierce, passionate kiss cut me off. Slap! The slap sent Jiang Ye's face jerking to the side. I took a deep breath, turned, slammed the door, and left. I never expected that the moment I slapped Jiang Ye would be captured by paparazzi and posted online. Subai, are you even listening? Hurry up. Pack your things and go apologize to him now. You had so many resources in your hands before, and now look at this mess. If President Jiang doesn't calm down, the company will either freeze you or terminate your contract. The phone on the bed buzzed. Sister Wang glanced at the caller ID and handed it to me. Mad dog? Who did you save with a name like that? I stubbed out the cigarette in my hand, tiredly rubbing my temples. As soon as the call connected, Jiang Ye's voice came through, full of regret and self-blame. Sister, I've already told the PR team to handle the online mess. Please don't be mad anymore, okay? I frowned. What did you tell PR to do? Jiang Ye hesitated at first, but after I pressed him, he finally spoke. I told Jiang Corp to announce that I'm pursuing you. Last night was my fault for making you angry. It has nothing to do with you. I understood his intentions immediately, gritting my teeth in warning. Don't you dare! I'll handle this myself. If you post that announcement, you'd better get lost right now. With that, I hung up in anger. Sister Wang looked at me suspiciously. In all these years, no matter what happened, you've always stayed calm and handled things. I'm really curious about the person who can make you lose control like this. I didn't respond, changing the subject. I remember Director Gu once invited me to join a live stream show, ask if there's still a spot for me. A few minutes later, Sister Wang hung up excitedly. Director Gu said yes. Filming starts tomorrow. You need to seize this chance and turn things around. It's a reality live stream show where guests film for 3 days and 2 nights. This time, the show invited 6 guests, 3 men and 3 women. The announced lineup includes popular young actress Fan Tian, variety show queen Qin Yu, film empress Su Bai, film emperor Xie Chen, and million-view TikToker Little Renge. The final male guest remains a mystery. During the live stream, comments flooded in like a storm. Who's the last male guest? I bet it's the lead actor from that recent hit drama. No way, he's filming a wilderness survival show. He doesn't have the time. I heard from an insider that the guest was initially someone with the initial W, but last night they were urgently replaced by a big shot. Someone outside the industry? Here he comes. Here he comes. Look! The camera panned over, and a sleek black Maybach pulled up to the gate. Seeing the familiar license plate, my eyelid twitched. Oh my gosh! It's President Jiang! So handsome! Is President Jiang debuting? His looks could crush all those self-proclaimed heartthrobs in the industry. Blind guess, President Jiang joined the live stream to get revenge on Su Bai. The commenter above nailed it. Since he got out of the car, President Jiang hasn't taken his eyes off Su Bai. I'm sweating for her. Hello, President Jiang. I'm Qin Yu, an artist under Jiang Corp. Qin Yu stepped forward, her demeanor dripping with charm. Jiang Ye caught a whiff of her overpowering perfume and immediately stepped back. He's always been someone who does whatever he wants. Others yield to him, never the other way around. Stay away from me. It's suffocating. So embarrassing. Bet tomorrow's trending topic will be Qin Yu's flattery fails slapped down by the crown prince. Don't cry, Yu. I'll always support you. Qin Yu quickly composed herself and turned to me with a smile. Sister Su, why don't you go apologize to President Jiang? Beg for his forgiveness. It'll also give your fans an explanation. Qin Yu and I debuted the same year, but she has no notable works, only thriving on variety shows. Jiang Ye's expression turned sour. Why does she need to apologize to me? Qin Yu answered immediately. The incident of Sister Su hitting you is already trending. You're generous enough not to hold it against her, but she's really too much for not taking the initiative to apologize. Jiang Ye narrowed his eyes, looking at the girl trying to cozy up to him with clear wariness. She hit me? What's that got to do with you? Qin Yu's eyes instantly reddened, her lips trembling, looking like a pear blossom in the rain. President Jiang, I just feel it's unfair for you. Jiang Ye replied nonchalantly, his impatience obvious. Who are you to feel wronged on my behalf? Seeing the tension rise, Director Gu quickly stepped in to change the topic. On the way to the filming room, Xie Chen walked beside me, covering the mic on his collar and whispering, I heard about the trending topic. Are you okay? I'm fine. It's just a misunderstanding. Xie Chen nodded. Good. If you need help with anything, just let me. Before he could finish, someone squeezed between us. Jiang Ye, without a word, wedged himself right between me and Xie Chen. Me. What's President Jiang doing? This looks so childish, haha. Did he just deliberately bump into film Emperor Xi? Why does it feel like President Jiang's really unhappy? From President Jiang's expression? Icellacy? No way. He likes film Emperor Xi? I feel like there's something off between President Jiang and Su Bai, but I can't quite put my finger on it. In the first segment of the show, the organizers required the guests to call the contact saved with the most unique nickname in their phone. The order was decided by drawing lots. Who's number one? Jiang Ye stood up, raising his wrist. Right here. Director Gu smiled obsequiously. Toward this crown prince, he could only be deferential. Then President Jiang, please go first. Jiang Ye opened his contacts and turned to me with a bright smile, flashing his pearly whites. I suddenly felt uneasy. Ah! Who's President Jiang calling? A guy or a girl? Probably a business partner or a buddy. CEOs in dramas are usually like that. You above. Open your eyes. Who saves their buddy as baby? He's calling. So exciting. I held my breath. The next second, my phone started ringing. Everyone turned to look. I calmly flipped my phone over, letting the camera zoom in on the screen. Oh, it's a scam number. Scared me for a second. I thought President Jiang was calling Su Bai. Not just you. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. Jiang Ye called the first time, and the phone reported, the number you have dialed is busy. He called 3 times in a row, all with the same result. His face darkened, clearly realizing he'd been blocked. I lowered my head, barely suppressing a smile. Before filming started, I noticed Jiang Ye talking to the director. Afterward, I skimmed the show's schedule. When I saw the first task was call the contact with the most unique nickname, I instantly knew what he was up to. I couldn't help but laugh. Idiot. The next second, I blocked all his contact methods. Haha, I'm dying. President Jiang's been completely blocked, and the funniest part is he hasn't even realized it yet. I suddenly feel bad for President Jiang. He's like a puppy abandoned by its owner, but that doesn't stop me from laughing in his face. Am I the only one curious? I want to know who President Jiang's baby is. How do I explain this? He let out an awkward laugh. Maybe the other party is playing truth or dare and temporarily blocked you. Zhang Ye held his phone, looking at me with a complicated, aggrieved expression. Why did you block me? As soon as he spoke, all eyes turned to me. In the strange atmosphere, I curved my lips slightly, slipped my hand. Everyone. Zhang Ye didn't care how ridiculous my excuse was. As long as I bothered to explain, he immediately looked smug, as if he were wagging his tail. Then slip it back. Or you can do it when we get home. Huh? What's this about doing it at home? What's going on here? I knew something was off between them from the start. Now it's clear. Wasn't President Jiang here for revenge? Why does he seem like a lovesick fool now? Zhang Ye raised an eyebrow, then cooperated seriously during the filming process. But an inexplicable anger welled up inside me. Filming wrapped up for the evening, and everyone returned to the homestay prepared by the show. I had just closed my door when Zhang Ye suddenly appeared, using his elbow to block the door, grinning cheekily. Sister! Is President Jiang pursuing Subai? I heard he has a girl in his heart. The prayer beads on his wrist were a gift from her. Their relationship doesn't seem normal at all. Does President Jiang have a thing for being mistreated? If I'd known, I'd have slapped him too. Is it too late now? You above, you wouldn't even touch President Jiang's sleeve before his security throws you out. I tried to suppress my anger, reminding him, this is a live stream. There were cameras in the room recording. Zhang Ye didn't care at all, tightening his grip on my waist and pushing us both into the room. Then he kicked the door shut with his foot. Director Gu wouldn't dare. The next second, Director Gu immediately switched the camera to other artists via the intercom. He wasn't afraid. He just knew this crown prince too well. Why can't I watch even as a VIP? Turn it back on. What are they about to do that you had to switch cameras? I'm crying. Bring it back! If you don't switch back, I'll block the whole show. I glanced at the camera, confirming its light was off. Right after, I lifted my foot and kicked Zhang Ye squarely. Who gave you the right to say that during a live stream? Before I could finish, he lowered his head in apology. I'm sorry, I was wrong. My anger got stuck halfway, neither rising nor falling. Get out! Zhang Ye started acting up. I'm not leaving. As soon as he finished speaking, he lifted my face and kissed me deeply, passionately, and persistently, as if trying to melt the air around us. After being kicked out of the room, Zhang Ye looked elated, radiating smugness. He called Director Gu. You can start filming again. Director Gu paused for a few seconds. Got it, got it. In another corner, some filthy words reached my ears. That Subai isn't as innocent as she seems. She acts all pure, but behind closed doors, she must be quite the flirt. President Jiang's been charmed by her. Who knows how wild she is in bed? She's probably a pro. Damn it! Who just hit me? When the camera panned over, Zhang Ye was pinning little Ren to the ground, throwing punches relentlessly. His gaze was cold and dark as he lifted a nearby chair, ready to smash it down on little Ren's head, striking without any regard for consequences. Ren Yang, dazed from the beating, touched his head and realized it was bleeding, screaming, President Jiang's trying to kill me! Someone come save me! Call the police. I want to report this. At that moment, the only thought in Zhang Ye's mind was, how dare you insult my baby? I'll kill you! I stepped out just in time to witness this scene. The people around only dared to offer verbal zu. No one dared to approach. I furrowed my brows tightly. Zhang Ye wasn't the type to lash out easily. Ren Yang must have said something unbearable. Zhang Ye, stop! He didn't listen. Before my eyes was a little Ren who was breathing more out than in. I stepped forward, grabbing his wrist. Enough! Not enough! He dared to insult you. What just happened? Why did President Jiang beat up little Ren? The camera didn't catch it earlier. No one knows what went down. No matter how powerful President Jiang is, he can't just beat someone like that. Let's not judge until we know the full story. I said enough! I tightened my grip on his wrist, causing the prayer beads on his arm to snap, the beads scattering across the floor. Jiang Ye froze, his gaze fixed on the beads rolling around. Only when they all stopped did he bend down to pick them up, one by one, without a word, then turned and walked away. His retreating figure looked just like a little puppy abandoned by its owner. So pitiful. I bit my lip, wanting to chase after him, but my gaze briefly swept over Ren Yang, still yelling about calling the police, and I narrowed my eyes, weighing my options. It's over for real this time. Subai's done for. President Jiang once publicly said those prayer beads are his life. No one can touch them. Now they're broken. Subai won't survive this. No matter how special President Jiang treated her before, this will definitely end all his leniency. Someone once deliberately spilled wine on President Jiang's wrist to get his attention and ended up completely blacklisted. But President Jiang's retreating figure looks so sad. I turned to the director, my voice icy. Please live stream everything in full. I believe Jiang Ye didn't attack someone without reason. Director Gu, rest assured, but there's no camera here. He meant there was no proof that Ren Yang provoked him first. Hearing this, Ren Yang shouted even louder. Ow, it hurts so much. I need to call the police. Has the police arrived yet? An ambulance from Hospital 120 arrived, putting Ren Yang on a stretcher and taking him straight to the hospital. I followed to the hospital. The doctor was treating the wounds inside while I removed the mic from my collar, found a quiet corner, and called Sister Wang, my manager. I recall Ren Yang once sold some shady products. Sister Wang paused for a few seconds. Yes, that happened. But you've never cared about these things before, have you? I hesitated for a moment. Gather all the evidence and info on the victims from back then and send them to me. Sister Wang didn't beat around the bush. Is this because of President Jiang? Yes. Your relationship with him. I glanced at the moonlight outside, staying silent for a moment before replying, family. All right, I'll arrange it and send it to your email. After the doctor finished bandaging, he stepped out and gestured for me to come over for a private talk. Subai, I've done a full check on him. The results show it's just a minor scratch, nothing serious, but he keeps insisting he has a headache and demands to be admitted. I understand. Thank you, doctor. Outside the hospital, Jiang Ye was squatting on the ground, a cigarette dangling from his lips. His assistant looked at the pile of cigarette butts on the ground and sighed. President Jiang, if you want to see Miss Su, just go inside. Why are you sitting out here? Jiang Ye turned his head, replying coldly, She broke my prayer beads and snapped at me. He thought to himself how pointless it was to squat on the curb in this freezing wind. Jiang Ye pinched the cigarette between his fingers, crushing the tip. Go dig up all of Ren Yang's scandals for me. Understood. A second later, Jiang Ye asked again, Do you think she doesn't like me? The topic shift was so abrupt, the assistant nearly choked. Has Miss Su ever clearly said she likes you? Jiang Ye raised an eyebrow. Seems like you've been too idle lately. What a tough job. President Jiang, even if Miss Su hasn't explicitly said she likes you, the way she treats you compared to others is clearly different. Jiang Ye immediately perked up, pressing further. Different how? He racked his brain for an answer. For example, Miss Su is cold to others, but with you, it's obviously different. She hits and scolds you. Jiang Ye pondered, You're right. Why is she only harsh with me and not others? The assistant was utterly speechless at his lovesick logic. I stepped out of the hospital just in time to see Jiang Ye and his assistant's near breaking point expression. I turned and nodded slightly to Director Gu, please stay at the hospital and keep an eye on Ren Yang. Director Gu understood immediately. Don't worry, I'll handle it. I nodded in thanks, then walked toward Jiang Ye. He turned his head, avoiding my gaze. I stayed silent, just standing there. Jiang Ye nudged his assistant lightly. Waiting for me to invite you to dinner? The assistant quickly found an excuse to escape the drama. President Jiang, Miss Su, I'll head out. Call me if you need anything. Jiang Ye acted proud, but clearly wanted to talk to me. I laughed in frustration. Do you realize this was a global live stream today? I know. Do you know how many fans are watching this show? I know. Do you know that if Ren Yang dared to say those things, there wouldn't be a camera recording it? Beating him up could easily backfire. Even if you jumped into the Yellow River, you wouldn't wash this clean. Sister, are you worried about me? He curved his lips again, looking smug as if he'd gained an extra bit of my concern. I ignored him. Are you hurt? Jiang Ye immediately stretched out his hand in front of me, looking aggrieved. It hurts. I burst out laughing, smacking the back of his hand hard. Are you trying to scratch it so it never heals? The injury was so small, I'd need a magnifying glass to see it. At the hospital, Ren Yang looked at the gift I brought, his voice full of suspicion. Where did you get this stuff? I sat on the sofa nearby, pleased with his reaction. Did you think no one would know just because it was swept under the rug? Ren Yang glared at me. What do you want? Post a video, repeating every word you said at the homestay that day, not a single word missing. Realizing my intent, he laughed. You're helping President Jiang? You think by helping him like this, he'll marry you? Never. Forget the fact that you're 3 years older than him. You wouldn't even reach the Jiang family's threshold. Why don't we team up instead? You give me back the evidence, and we form a couple. I may not be a celebrity, but my status in the TikTok world isn't far behind yours. It's a win-win. Hearing his words, I laughed, but my smile held no warmth. Ren Yang, do you think I'm that easy to deal with? I pulled out my phone, setting a 10-minute timer. I'll give you 10 minutes to think. When the time's up, I'll post all the evidence online. Ren Yang frowned deeply. If I post a video explaining things for President Jiang, my reputation will be ruined too. In this situation, why should I do it? Weigh your options. Is the crime of selling counterfeit goods worse, or is slandering someone worse? Gritting his teeth, Ren Yang posted an account of that day's events online. I knew it. President Jiang wouldn't attack someone for no reason. If I heard someone say those things, I'd jump in and beat them up too. President Jiang is so cool. When will I find someone like him to love? Ren Yang is a million-view TikToker, and he's this kind of person? Unfollowing immediately. Same. This kind of person doesn't deserve so many fans, let alone fame. In just a few minutes, Ren Yang lost over 1 million followers. He was furious. Now can you give me back the evidence? I smiled. Of course. Sister Wang got the hint and posted all the remaining evidence online. Ren Yang's face turned red with rage. You said, if I posted the explanation video, you'd give me back the evidence. I tilted my head, resting my chin on my hand, smiling mockingly. Did I promise you that? Ren Yang lunged at me, trying to grab my throat, but the next second, he was kicked away. Jiang Ye stood there, his expression icy. You dare touch her? Jiang Ye's kick spared no mercy. Ren Yang was sent sprawling to the ground, clutching his stomach in pain and groaning. After the evidence was made public, victims of Ren Yang's scams came forward one by one. The bird's nest. Ren Yang sold was completely inedible. It was just water and sugar mixed together. He advertised that bird's nest as super nutritious. I bought it for my parents, but they ended up in the hospital after drinking it. Same with my family. Unbelievable. I exposed this back then, but he buried it and even threatened me to keep quiet. Now someone's finally speaking up. This kind of heartless money grubber needs to be punished. Is this for real? A TikToker could do something like this? He needs to be fully blacklisted and held accountable. Ren Yang's counterfeit sales were exposed. After an investigation by the authorities, the products he sold for high commissions were indeed found to be fake. His account was permanently banned. He was blacklisted across all platforms and fined 8 million yuan. The assistant reported the latest updates to Jiang Ye. Jiang Ye, you're saying you didn't even get to post the evidence before someone beat you to it? Exactly. Who did you say it was? The assistant wanted to cry. He'd already said it 5 times, but President Jiang couldn't get enough. It was Miss Su. She didn't want you to suffer any grievances, so she dealt with Ren Yang like this. Jiang Ye nodded in satisfaction. The assistant hesitated for a moment. Jiang Ye raised an eyebrow. Speak if you have something to say. The assistant pulled up a few comments from netizens. President Jiang, your issue has been resolved, but it seems Miss Su. guessing Subai will be gradually phased out by her company. I don't think so. She yelled at President Jiang that day, and he didn't even get mad, just quietly picked up the prayer beads and left. You above don't get it. President Jiang was just too busy to deal with Subai then. Now that everything's settled, isn't it time for payback? Didn't President Jiang skip filming the show today? Do you know that if Ren Yang dared to say those things, there wouldn't be a camera recording it? Beating him up could easily backfire. Even if you jumped into the Yellow River, you wouldn't wash this clean. Sister, are you worried about me? He curved his lips again, looking smug as if he'd gained an extra bit of my concern. I ignored him. Are you hurt? I actually really like Subai. If she gets blacklisted, the industry will lose a real talent. Zhang Ye frowned. Tell the PR team to post the statement we prepared earlier. You mean the one about you pursuing Miss Su? But she said if you dared to post it, she'd make you get lost. Zhang Ye lit a cigarette, replying casually. Her telling me to get lost isn't anything new. Hurry up and do it. At another cafe, the man in front of me bore a 7-part resemblance to Zhang Ye, but he seemed much more composed. Miss Su, do you think you're worthy of my brother? I came here today, and I'm sure you understand my intent. I hope you'll voluntarily keep your distance from Zhang Ye. The Jiang family has started selecting marriage candidates for him, and clearly, Miss Su, you don't qualify. Would you mind if I smoke? I asked politely. A snap sounded, and a blue flame flickered to life. Zhang Chen raised an eyebrow. Miss Su is quite different from what I imagined. I smiled coldly. First, if I want to, I'm absolutely worthy of Zhang Ye. Second, for all these years, it hasn't been me who needed to keep a distance. It's been Zhang Ye. Of course, starting today, we'll be getting closer in a mutual way. Third, you say I don't qualify? Honestly, if you weren't Zhang Ye's brother, you wouldn't even be on my schedule today. Zhang Chen clasped his hands on the table. Miss Su, you're an artist under Jiang Corp. Aren't you afraid I'll blacklist you? I met his gaze, unflinching. Go ahead and try if you can blacklist me. I stood to leave, but dropped a bombshell before I did. Mr. Jiang, back then, you followed your family's wishes and abandoned your first love. Do you ever regret it? Jiang Chen shot to his feet, his sharp eyes narrowing with an intimidating presence. As a man of power, he always carried an oppressive aura. Even Zhang Ye doesn't know I had a first love. How do you know? Unfortunately for you, she was my senior. Jiang Chen's lips moved as if to speak, but he ultimately stayed silent. Mr. Jiang, do you want to ask how she's doing now? She's very happy with 2 smart, adorable kids. Her husband is gentle and considerate, and most importantly, he'd never abandon her for personal gain. Jiang Chen gave a self-deprecating smile, the corner of his mouth lifting in a bitter smirk. That's good, then! I wronged her back then. I turned and left. If he weren't Zhang Ye's brother, I wouldn't have bothered with this meeting. In the car, Sister Wang was waiting, looking like she wanted to say something but holding back. I rubbed my forehead, sighing, what did Zhang Ye do now? Check the trending topics yourself. I opened my phone and saw I was dominating the top 3 spots. President Jiang officially announces pursuit of Subai. President Jiang's precious prayer beads were a gift from Subai. President Jiang and Subai about to be a couple? I found Jiang Corp's official post. Zhang Ye's confession of pursuing me was pinned at the top. I called it. President Jiang treats Subai differently. Turns out he's the simp, and he's been simping for over a decade. Subai broke the prayer beads and got away with it? Of course, she's the one who gave them to him, so naturally he wouldn't hold it against her. The CP was right in front of me, and I didn't see it. Everyone thought President Jiang joined the show to get revenge on Subai. Who knew he was there to chase his wife? Turns out we're the clowns. In front of my house, Zhang Ye stood holding a bouquet of flowers, waiting, I don't know for how long. Seeing me return, he immediately ran over, his eyes sparkling. I'm sorry, sister. I took the roses from his hands. For what? He thought I didn't know yet, hesitating before finding the right words. I had the company release the announcement. If you want to scold me, go ahead, but I'm not leaving. Why would I scold you? Of course, because I didn't ask for your opinion first. Wait, what do you mean? He got excited, waiting for my next words. Zhang Ye, I'm older than you, and I've been in the entertainment industry for years. I'm not what you imagine. You mean you've agreed to be my girlfriend, right? He hugged me, spinning us around several times, shouting, Subai agreed to be my girlfriend. Zhang Ye didn't answer my question. He only said he'd prove with actions that I had nothing to worry about. In the middle of the night, while I was sleeping, I vaguely heard Zhang Ye on the phone. Qinzi, do you have a girlfriend yet? On the other end, Qinzi, still groggy, tried to make sense of the situation. Are you having a breakdown in the middle of the night? Zhang Ye laughed. Not far off, Subai just agreed to be my girlfriend. Qinzi cursed a few times before hanging up abruptly. Zhang Ye then called Fujun. Fujun, I feel like I'm completely different today compared to yesterday. Fujun opened his eyes, leaned against the headboard, pulled a cigarette from the pack, bit it, and lit it, thinking Zhang Ye had something serious to say. Don't rush. Take your time. I realize that having a girlfriend comes with a different sense of responsibility. I feel a heavy burden on my shoulders. Susu loves buying bags and clothes. I'll need to earn more money for her to spend. Then there's the holidays, I'll have to. Fujun took 2 deep drags, gritting his teeth. I really shouldn't have answered your call. Zhang Ye called everyone close to him, bragging across his friends' circle and group chats. The result? He was kicked out of groups and blocked. The next morning, I was woken by the incessant ringing of my phone. Seeing the caller ID, I answered, Sister Wang. Her urgent voice came through, Subai, don't go to the set today, and don't go out. I'm coming to your place right now. She hung up in a rush. Online, a post exploded, accusing me of ignoring my gravely ill grandmother because I was too busy chasing industry resources. I'm Subai's aunt. Back then, the family called her dozens of times, but she didn't answer. Finally, her assistant picked up, saying she was busy filming and shooting ads with no time to come back. She just sent some money, but poor grandma, on her deathbed, she kept thinking of her granddaughter. Subai doesn't seem like that kind of person. She's been passionate about charity for years. She can't be who you're describing. Are you deliberately slandering her? Definitely. This account was just created, probably someone's alt. Public opinion boiled over, nearly drowning the poster. In the end, she revealed her identity with official documents. I'm Zhao Fangfang, Subai's aunt. I want to expose her. For years, she's been ungrateful, getting rich but refusing to acknowledge poor relatives like us. Seeing her in the video, my eyes darkened, devoid of light. Before I finished watching, a slender hand took the phone from me. Zhang Ye pulled me into his arms. Don't watch anymore. I'll handle this. Zhang Ye, back then, I couldn't see Grandma one last time because he silenced me with a kiss. You don't need to explain to me. I trust you unconditionally. A warm current flowed through my heart. Sister Wang arrived, and Zhang Ye and his assistant stepped out to handle things. As soon as he left, Sister Wang started ranting. That Zhao Fangfang is downright inhuman. Back then, if it weren't for her, you'd have seen your grandmother. Now she has the nerve to turn around and slander you. Over the years, she's used your grandmother's name to extort money from you. Back when you were just starting out, you sent her almost everything you earned. Now look at this. She needs a lesson she'll never forget. I replied calmly. Sister Wang, look into who she's been in contact with lately. Check her call logs and bank transactions too. I let her off once back then, not this time. At Zhangcorp headquarters, you went to see Subai yesterday, didn't you? Jiang Chen looked at his brother, who came to confront him, shaking his head in disappointment. You're questioning me over a woman? Zhang Ye gritted his teeth. Jiang Chen, the person I treasure like a gem. You dare to bully her? I'll beat you to death. With that, he threw a punch at his brother. Jiang Chen didn't back down, and the two started fighting right at headquarters. Outside, none of the secretaries dared to intervene. Jiang Chen landed a counterpunch. Jiang Ye, look at what you've become because of Subai. Instead of managing the company at headquarters, you're meddling in the entertainment industry. Jiang Ye delivered a hard kick. I'll say this one last time. I only want Subai. I don't need anyone else, and no one's allowed to touch her. Both were covered in bruises. Jiang Ye wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with his thumb. He was about to charge again when Jiang Chen looked at him like he was an idiot. I didn't do it. Can you use your brain for once? Don't turn into a fool every time it involves Subai. Jiang Ye froze. It wasn't you? Jiang Chen gave him another look, as if staring at a moron. Jiang Ye, if it wasn't you, why did you fight me? Jiang Chen was speechless. Damn it. I looked at the two people in front of me, their expressions full of guilt. What did you two do to look so guilty? Zhao Fangfang frowned, her tone arrogant. What do you mean? We're your elders, after all. Is this how you talk to adults? Hearing her try to use her status to suppress me, I sneered. I only respect those who deserve it. And you, what are you? Zhao Fangfang pointed at my face, cursing. Back then, your parents died early. If it weren't for me and your uncle, who knows what ditch you'd have died in? Would you even be here today to talk so big? She really was the epitome of shamelessness. This house is new, isn't it? I glanced around. The house was filled with porcelain decorations. It looked like they'd recently come into a lot of money. Zhao Fangfang grew defensive. New or not? What's it to you? I casually picked up a porcelain piece and smashed it on the ground. Zhao Fangfang rushed over in distress, squatting to pick up the shards. Subai, are you insane? Why'd you smash my stuff for no reason? Do you know how expensive this was? Compensate me now. You say you and Uncle took care of me? How can you have the nerve to spew such lies? It was clearly Grandma who struggled to raise me. And you two? Don't even talk about taking care of me. You barely even checked on Grandma a few times. When she was critically ill, you deliberately kept it from me because you wanted me to earn more money. I had to hear about her passing from someone else. Now you're online spreading lies to defame me. Do you really think I won't do anything to you? Hearing me mention the online issue, Zhao Fangfang's attitude flared up again. Who told you not to give me and your uncle money? I heard you earned tens of millions from just one movie, yet you didn't even think to give us a few $100 million to spend. When we ran out of money, of course we had to say a few harsh words online. She still thought she had me in her grip like when I was a kid. Do you know this behavior is illegal? Zhao Fangfang didn't have much education. The house in Beijing was bought with the money she scammed from me. Hearing the word illegal, her bravado visibly shrank. Don't scare me. I've checked. You were raised by us, so you're obligated to take care of me and your uncle in our old age. How about this? Give me $1 billion, and I'll delete the video and disappear from your life. Deal? She had the audacity to demand $1 billion. What a lion's mouth. I glanced at the porcelain shards on the floor, picking up a large piece. You really think I can't deal with you? Zhao Fangfang puffed up, acting like she had the upper hand. If you had evidence, you wouldn't be here talking to us. The anger I'd suppressed for so long erupted. I pressed the shard to her throat. How much money did I send you back then? You didn't use even 1/10 of it for Grandma. In the end, you had her discharged, letting her wait for death at home. All of this. Was there anything you didn't do yourself? She froze, a chill running down her spine. Subai, I'm warning you. If you dare touch me, I'll call the police and have you arrested. You're a big star. Aren't you afraid of losing your reputation and everything? You think I care about those things? The desperate fear the reckless fear the bold, and the bold fear nothing. Zhao Fangfang's legs trembled in fear as she turned to yell at Su Feng, who hadn't said a word the whole time. Are you dead? Don't you see Subai's about to kill me? Hurry up and make her let me go. Seeing she only had this much guts, I let out a cold huff. Su Feng lowered his head, thinking for a moment before speaking. Little Bai, we're family after all. I don't want things to get too ugly. As long as you agree to give us some money, I'll make your aunt delete the video and promise she won't bother you again. How about that? How much do you think your words are worth? Zhao Fangfang was the type who'd never be satisfied. Give her money this time, and a few days later, she'd find another excuse to keep extorting, like a starving leech that never lets go. Su Feng's face flushed, knowing full well what his wife was like. Subai, you earn more in a month than your aunt and I could in a lifetime. You can't spend it all anyway. Think of it as buying peace with bad luck. You're not really losing out. I let go of Zhao Fangfang, pulled a few tissues from my bag to wipe my hands, my face full of disgust. Zhao Fangfang, didn't you do this because you thought I had no evidence? Did you think I couldn't recover those deleted messages from back then? If you love being cursed out so much, I'll make your wish come true. Oh, and ask the person who schemed with you, that famous TikToker, how many years you get for hiring someone to threaten others. At Zhao Fangfang's house, Zhao Fangfang watched my figure disappear, then turned to Su Feng. What did she mean by that? I'm not sure, but it's definitely not good. Hurry up and call that advisor of yours. Su Bai's gone crazy. She's capable of anything now. Zhao Fangfang quickly dialed the number. On the other end, Ren Yang was slumped in a bar, drinking in broad daylight. What is it? You said if I went online and accused Su Bai of being ungrateful, she'd come crawling with money. But just now, she almost killed me. That girl's unhinged now. What do I do? Ren Yang had only been using her. Do whatever you want. She almost killed you. Keep posting accusations. Celebrities fear scandals the most. Sooner or later, you'll ruin her reputation. And then won't she come begging with money to apologize? Having come this far, Zhao Fangfang had no choice but to grit her teeth and push forward. You'd better be right. If not, I won't let you off. At Jiang Corp headquarters, at the entrance, Qin Yu, wearing a dress identical to one I'd worn before, approached Jiang Ye. President Jiang, Su Bai isn't what you think. For money and fame, she didn't even see her grandmother one last time. Someone like that doesn't deserve your affection. She spoke while trying to press closer to Jiang Ye. Seeing him stand still, she thought she had a chance and continued. President Jiang, Su Bai and I debuted together, and our styles are quite similar. Whatever you like about her, I can have too. She deliberately made a few seductive moves while speaking. Jiang Ye didn't look at her, only focusing on the assistant and security guards arriving late. You're only showing up now? I'm about to be suffocated by this woman. Assistant. Qin Yu looked like she'd been struck by lightning. President Jiang, where exactly do I fall short compared to Su Bai? Tell me. I can change. Change? Even I don't know how to be the perfect boyfriend in her eyes, can you? Qin Yu was escorted out of Jiang Corp headquarters by security, still clueless about where she went wrong. The scene was captured by paparazzi below, and Qin Yu made a rare appearance on trending searches. Jiang Ye wrinkled his nose, catching the lingering scent on himself, looking disgusted. Damn it, what if Su Bai misunderstands? He took off his jacket, tossing it straight into the trash, then lit a cigarette. How's the investigation I asked for? The assistant quickly handed over the gathered documents. You were right. Zhao Fangfang couldn't have done this on her own. Ren Yang, wanting to get back at Miss Su, told her Su Bai had a lot of money, and she immediately tried to take advantage. What is Su Bai to her that she dares to dream of exploiting her? Have those chat logs been recovered yet? They've been recovered, but Miss Su's manager beat us to the punch. Your work efficiency just keeps getting better, he said, each word dripping with sarcasm. I stood to the side, unable to hold back a laugh. Su Bai, when did you get here? A while ago. The messages between me and Zhao Fangfang from back then were exposed. Little Bai, your grandma's fine. Your aunt and uncle are taking care of her at home. Don't worry, just focus on work. I just asked the doctor. He said grandma's illness needs a lot of money for treatment. Bye-bye, send a few more tens of millions. No need to come back for grandma's birthday. Work hard and earn money to cover her medical bills. What is Su Bai to her that she dares to dream of exploiting her? Have those chat logs been recovered yet? They've been recovered, but Miss Su's manager beat us to the punch. Your work efficiency just keeps getting better, he said, each word dripping with sarcasm. I stood to the side, unable to hold back a laugh. Su Bai, when did you get here? A while ago. During that time, I tried calling Grandma multiple times, but was always turned down with various excuses. Little Bai, Grandma ate a bowl of porridge today. She looks very healthy. I just made Grandma's favorite soup. Don't worry. Little Bai, I have to stay home to care for Grandma and can't work. Your uncle's money isn't enough to support the family. Send another 200 million, okay? By the time she said that, my grandmother had already been buried. When I found out, I was so furious I went back and trashed their newly renovated house in the countryside. Now, netizens were fully on my side, flooding Zhao Fangfang's newly created account with insults. When I checked, her account had been canceled after being bombarded with hate. Netizens even showed up at her house, making the couple too scared to leave. I've never seen anyone so heartless. A abusing the elderly, not even telling her about her grandmother's death just to extort more money. Does that blood money taste good? If it were her own mother, would she treat her like that? Is she even human? Doing anything for money, even fabricating stories to attack others first. Come down here if you're so brave. Don't hide up there like a coward. Zhao Fangfang called the police several times, but each time they left, the crowd returned to continue cursing. She didn't dare go out, and their food was running out. Even when they ordered delivery, netizens intercepted the food downstairs. I received a call from Zhao Fangfang, unsurprised. She sobbed, begging for forgiveness. Little Bai, I was wrong. I shouldn't have listened to others and posted those videos online. I really know I messed up. Please tell them to stop coming here and causing trouble. I truly regret it. Hearing her insincere apology, I understood clearly. Someone like Zhao Fangfang, who only ever cared about herself, would never genuinely admit her wrongs. Right now, she was only bowing down because of the overwhelming pressure. If given another chance, she'd still hide my grandmother's death to keep exploiting me for her family's gain. That evening, they tried to sneak away, but netizens caught them and pelted them with rotten eggs. In the end, they fled in disgrace, leaving Beijing to return to their hometown. Back in their village, the locals learned of their deeds and showed nothing but contempt, even finding ways to make their lives harder. At the bar, when Zhang Ye walked in with his men, Ren Yang was still drinking. He signaled to his guards, and someone immediately splashed a bucket of ice water over Ren Yang's head. Ren Yang snapped awake, realizing who was in front of him. President Zhang? Zhang Ye walked over slowly, sitting on a single sofa nearby. Don't be nervous. I'm a legitimate businessman. I won't do anything to you. That sentence only made Ren Yang more terrified. President Zhang, I haven't crossed you recently. The assistant sneered. Messing with Miss Su is worse than messing with President Zhang. Ren Yang immediately understood Zhang Ye's purpose. Thinking he'd only said a few words without taking direct action, he figured no one could touch him. President Zhang, I only gave Zhao Fangfang a little advice. Is that illegal? Zhang Ye smirked. Not illegal. But hiring people to threaten and use violence to silence those who bought your fake goods? Is that illegal? Ren Yang was speechless. President Zhang, what do you want? Nothing much. You made Su suffer so much. I naturally need to vent. But like I said, I'm a lawful businessman. Unless you willingly record a video saying you agree to spar with me. Zhang Ye's strikes were ruthless. In no time, Ren Yang was beaten to the ground, unable to get up. The police arrived, frowning at the scene. The assistant immediately presented the video of their agreement. Police. All evidence of Ren Yang's threats and violence to silence buyers of fake goods was handed over. He broke the law and was arrested. Outside, heavy rain pounded the windows, droplets falling in a steady rhythm. I curled up on the sofa, watching the recorded variety show live stream. The part where Zhang Ye made that phone call had me laughing so hard my stomach hurt. He walked in, shedding his rain-soaked jacket, and sat beside me. Sister? His fingertips slid along the hem of my shirt, slipping around my waist, gently caressing. My breathing quickened, my ears turning red. Tonight was destined to be a sleepless night. Outside the window, cold wind whistled through the trees, leaves rustling softly. Inside, our shadows intertwined, breaths mingling in the hazy, intimate air.